How many of you have ever replaced your RV, one type of your wastegate valves? Well, I've got two, like most people, and the first one was already stuck, messed up, and it was always open ever since we've had the RV for about a year and a half. So I decided, instead of having to crawl under there every time if I replace the valve and have to pull it open or leave it open, and then you have the other valve that's closer to the end, let's say it gets a leak like it had, and then you're stuck with one leaky gate valve and you have the other one open because it's not functional or you don't want to climb under there and get it. Well, the Camco wastegate valve with the extension on it, I've seen lots of people ask questions on Amazon about, can you cut it? Can you modify it? Can you make it shorter? Some people say no, some people say yes. Haven't seen anything on it yet. So I decided, let's go ahead and try it out. What's the worst that could happen? It messes up. I have to get a new cable. So this is your wastegate valve extension cable that attaches to the end if you get the one that has the cable extension, so you can mount it to the outside of your RV. If you notice here, you got the handle on one side, and then you notice that it moves right here. Okay, so this is the cable that actually you tie in, and it pulls your gate valve open and close. If you notice, this plastic sheathing is actually attached, crimped to the end of this. So you can see it actually stays put. It's your cable that moves. Your cable is actually free inside. All your plastic sheathing is to protect it. That's all it is. So what I did is I basically took it under the camper. We measured from where it is to where it needs to go. I was about 2 feet over. You don't want this thing in some weird position that's going to go all the way up under your RV in different directions. You kind of want it going straight from where it's at, kind of a long curve, all the way to the outside, so you never have to worry about it getting locked up or bound up. So what I did is I marked it with the valve open, which would be this thing pulled out. I marked where I needed it to go to the outside. I then marked it on here, and it had about 4.5 inches of your center solid piece that pulls your slide open and close, about 4.5 inches already showing. So that's about the amount you need to reach the gate valve to where this clamps on to the outside of the valve handle to keep it stationary. So I cut it where I wanted it to. I marked it at 4.5 inches, which is the amount I want exposed. And with the angle grinder, with a cutoff wheel attached to it, I actually just went all the way around it, kind of slow, and then you just have to make sure that you don't actually cut or damage the inside line. You're basically cutting all the way around it, the metal sheathing and the rubber sheathing on the outside, to where it's just enough where you can wiggle a little bit and pull it right off. So that is basically how you can shorten it. You have the same pipe sticking out here. All you did was take the amount off that you did not need. You can see this end actually with the rubber off. It's just a metal, some type of metal flexible hose on it. It's metal. It's disattached or unattached to the actual rod inside. So all this is a protective sleeve, and it guides it. So let's go down to the RV, and I will show you how we hook this up, where we're going to mount it, and show you the modified mount that I made from what they sent with me. Camco kit, you will get a mount. I actually modified this. This is normally a flat mount. Comes with a bunch of different mounting holes, about 6 of them actually, and then a larger hole that you're going to undo this large nut on here, and you're going to slide this all the way up, and it's going to fit right in here like this. Then you're going to put your nut back on there, and it's going to fit nice and tight. Here is a close-up of this. You can see where it actually used to be all the way flat. It's cut here, bent down. I took a big chunk out of this side and out of this side, and then I just bent this piece up. So now it will sit against the I-beam. This will come below, and I can pull my handle. And it's right in line with my other black tank valve. Alright, we're here down at the RV, so we're going to take this kit, we're going to put it right down here. Because you don't want to attach the end of this cable to that until you actually slide it through your mounting bracket, because there's no way that I know of that you can slide this onto here. So what we're going to do, and make sure you have this going the right way, the direction that how you're going to mount it. And pull our nut off right here. Don't lose that. So what we're going to do is pull this through here. We're going to put our nut back on. Okay. We're just going to snug it down. Now, this is actually going to go over this pipe. Now, like I was saying earlier, I'm sorry if this is dark. So this is actually going to go right here like this. We're going to put 2 self-tappers, at least 2 in here. And then that's going to hang out perfectly from that main pipe that goes all the way down to here. Our other black valve is right here. I replaced the seals in this one the other day. This is very easily accessible from outside the RV, which are right here. But the other one was in there. Now it doesn't look that far from my hand. That's probably about 3.5 feet from this other valve up here. So we're putting a cable. It's going to go right from the end of there, swoop around, and come right up to here. So this is the rod that pulls your valve in and out. What you want to do, make sure it's all the way closed. These 2 screws you want to have loosened so you can fit the end of the part that holds it tight. Okay. Now we're going to push this all the way in. You're going to make sure it's all the way as far in as it'll go. And then we're going to tighten these 2 up so it holds your cable sheathing in place. And this is just a plastic housing, so don't over tighten, or make sure you tighten evenly. If there's more than 1 bolt, as like this is, we're going to go back and forth on these so that it doesn't over torque the plastic. As you might be able to see how it just swoops to the outside. There's no hard bends or anything like that, so this should operate really well. And as you can see, I didn't do an install on this because it's pretty cut and dry, but you have your valve that is actually inside this body. You have to attach this. I attached the valve first, got a couple screws back here started, and then I was able to fit this frame right here over the whole entire thing, and then use these 2 bolts to tighten it up. And then you have a couple bolts here, and then you have the 2 bolts back here that hold your sheathing. And now you should be able to operate this valve and open and close so you don't have to crawl under here all the time. Think about right here is going to give adequate room for the bracket. As you can see, it doesn't hit my gas line right there. Has plenty of room to pull out, and it doesn't interfere with the side of the camper. I also wanted to avoid the slide that starts right here. I didn't want it so far under there. So that way I have wastegate number 1 right there, and then I'll pull this one, which will pull all your waste, and it will start it down the line so you can empty it. So we'll get our mounting screws in. So here we have our bracket. I got 2 1/4-inch self tappers, heavy duty, with 10 mil heads on it. I did pre-drill out with like a 1/8 of an inch drill bit just to give it a little extra help. And so we've got that nice. It is nice and sturdy. It's not going anywhere. Here is the finished product. There's the bracket, self-tapping screws, valve. Let's go under here. You can see the back of the valve held on by a nut. I had 2 of these on hand, so I put one here and then one right down there on the curve. That way it supported the weight, and it's still a little bit loose. That way it'll have room to flex. So that's it. If you are interested in this kit, I'm not sponsored by this. I make no money off of this, but I'm hoping it helps somebody. This is the Camco 3-inch RV wastegate valve with the flexible 72-inch cable extension. I hope this video helps somebody out. If you have any questions, comment below, give it a thumbs up. Anyways, hope this video helped you out. Hit that subscribe, and we'll see y'all in the next video.